Well, good morning, Australia, and good evening, USA, and Brandon, or late afternoon there. And wherever you're joining us from the world, we want to say a massive big welcome. We are in for an absolute treat today, and I'm super, super excited to, in a minute, be introducing and handing over to an incredible gentleman by the name of Brandon Cunningham. He's a Master Pro 10 rank in our company, and he is just an incredible guy. And you're going to learn a little bit more about him, about his story and his family in a minute. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Charlotte Venter. I'm coming to you from the beautiful Gold Coast this morning, Gold Coast of Australia. I'm actually at an event today, and we have some of our team here who apologize who can't be on this because the event has started. But there's no way I was going to miss this. I am so, so honored to be introducing Brandon Cunningham to you. Now, Brandon and Lynette, his wife, know the uphill battle of constantly having to trade their time for money. And that is what most people today struggle with. Now, after the economic recession hit their real estate business, the daily stress of making everything working started to hit them. While neither had much experience with network marketing, they had business experience, which taught them the value of a good opportunity, and they weren't going to let this one pass them by. So looking back years later, both Brandon and Lynette recognized the decision to join LifeVantage at a really crucial point in their time and in their lives, and it was a turning point for them and the best decision that they'd made ever. In just 2 years, note this guys, just 2 years, they had replaced their income as a family. And after 4 years, they had catapulted to the top ranks in our business. Now that the days of trading their time for money are long gone, Brandon and Lynette are focusing that time on helping other people. Their message is really simple, and it's this: most people either have time or they have money, and they don't have both. Now, there's a better way that doesn't force you to choose between the two, and this is what we're going to talk about today. So, Brandon Cunningham, welcome. Master Pro 10, Brandon Cunningham, all the way from the States. Brandon, thank you so much for your time. We sincerely appreciate it. Australia is so excited to hear from you. I must tell you that whenever we mention your name, the eyes sparkle because people truly love and adore you in this country. And whenever our general manager, Pamela Ferry, says, who should we bring out? Your name is always at the top of the list. So we can't wait to have you back in Australia. So Brandon, would you mind introducing yourself and share a little bit about your story as an entrepreneur, as a dad, and as a husband?
Sure. Charlotte, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Very good. I am not in Florida currently. I'm in Texas. We're out here for the weekend. It's still Friday here, so I know my Australian friends are ahead of us. They're into Saturday. We have an opportunity meeting tonight, and so a training tomorrow. So I'm in the hotel room. I hope the Wi-Fi is good for us here. It should be. As Charlotte gave you a little bit of an intro for my wife and I, very normal growing up and going through school, with the exception of I really got out of high school and didn't really know what I wanted to pursue. So I didn't see the value in just going to college to go to college. Had a very strong entrepreneurial spirit that I pursued early on. And that's how my wife and I kind of started our life. We got married very young. I was 21 and she was 18, and it's worked out perfectly. We've now over 25 years of marriage and 2 kids, and we're excited to be where we are at this stage in our life.
How amazing. Well, I know it's on my bucket list, certainly, and especially on my husband's, to come and visit you because, Brandon, I know you're a fisherman, right? You love going out on the deep blue ocean and catching those big fish, and so are we. So what else do you do for leisure time and to have fun?
Well, we do love the water. The water is certainly our spot. It's our refuge that we run to. But Lynette and I, we enjoy doing things with the kids, so we try and stay active with the kids. LifeVantage certainly has given us the travel aspect of what most people like when you say, hey, what would you do if you didn't have to go to work? Many people say travel. So we do a lot of travel. Just this year, we've been to Greece. We've been to the Bahamas. We've been 4 or 5 trips around the United States, most of that with LifeVantage, some of it not. So if we're not on the water, we're probably working with our LifeVantage family or we're visiting some other part of the world.
Oh, wow. Well, another thing we have in common is Greece. Greece has been on my bucket list since I can remember. And with our company incentive next year being an island, look, I know I'm going to win it. There's no ways I won't. So we are actually going to stop over in Greece. So my bucket list item is coming to pass, which is so exciting for me. How many kids do you have, Brandon?
2 kids, a boy and a girl, 13, and my girl turns 11 tomorrow.
Oh,
So,
wow. Exciting. So, Brandon, share with us, how were you introduced to LifeVantage? And specifically, was it the product that grabbed your attention or was it the company?
um, my cousin from Texas, kind of a full circle story because I'm in Texas now building a team here. She lives in Texas, which is about 1,000 miles. What's that in kilometers? Is that, let's see, that would be about 600 kilometers, I'm guessing, something like that. She, let's see, do I have that right? No, yes. No, more. It would be about 1,600, right? It'd be
Yeah.
more. So, um, anyway, she called my wife and introduced the product to her, and it was the timing of the deal. So it was in 2009. And 2009, we were going through, if you remember, a global recession was happening in 2009. And we were heavily invested in real estate and in the automobile industry. So never not I was extremely preoccupied with what we had on our plate already, not really interested in taking a look at anything else. And so she had to follow up a few times. She had to call my wife four or 5 times before I took a look at the video. And the video is a video we've used in the United States to kind of launch the company, the ABC Primetime Video, that I know doesn't have such a global reach because of not really knowing what ABC News is. But nevertheless, that's how we were introduced. A family member reached out to us.
And what was it about that video that got your attention?
I saw the uniqueness of the product immediately, and it was a news agency doing the report, not necessarily a pitch, a sales pitch from a company hyping their product. So I immediately recognized the validity of the product, that it had to be something unique, and so. Early on, my first thought was like, sounds like a really cool product. But that's how preoccupied I was with business. I was like, that sounds like a great product. I literally, if you want to know exactly how the story went, my wife walked in my office. We had a home office, and it was like, I don't know, 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And she's like, you've got to watch this video, because if you don't watch the video, Melissa's going to call again, and you need to watch the video. So, I watched the video, and I literally just watched it, and my wife's desk was on this side and my desk was on this side. I just pushed away from her desk, back to my desk and went back to work. And she's like, is that it? And I'm like, well, what? And so that's how preoccupied I was. I mean, the product seemed cool, but I was like a lot of people, just, you know, busy and hard to kind of get their attention sometimes.
Absolutely. You know, we find that because people are busy, you know, they either in a job or in their own business, they've got family, they've got most of the time some kind of a sport, and then it's, you know, house and groceries and washing and all that. So when you mention there's this additional thing, they just think, what, are you crazy? I don't have time. So share with us, how did you go from being in that position where you looked at it and you said, yeah, it looks good, but so what? I'm too preoccupied, to today being where you are?
The one thing my cousin did, and I think it was mainly out of inexperience, so it worked for her, but that's great, is that she relied on a system of third-party validation. So she was so new, she really couldn't answer any of our questions anyway, which worked in her favor, because I think one of the mistakes people make today, or any time in network marketing, is they fall into the trap of answering questions that instead of just answering the questions, they end up kind of trying to convince people or selling them. And so she got us into a phone call with a guy that we also have. I don't even know if you know this, but isn't your family involved in motocross? Did you guys ride dirt bikes a little bit?
Yes.
Well, I don't know if you know this or not, but I was raised on bikes. That was my first passion. I raced at the highest amateur level you could. And then in 1996, started riding professionally, and I rode the Outdoor Nationals and Supercross series in the United States from 96 to 2002. And so we have a lot of things in common when it comes to our backgrounds. But your question was centered around the third party. You said, how did we go from that three-way call to where we are today? What was the question?
Yeah. So how did you go from I'm too busy, I'm preoccupied, look, this looks good, but I can't fit this in, to going, hey, I'm going to take this on? And today you've retired your family, right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. We've gone from, just like everybody else, chasing our tail, working just to pay the bills and maybe do a vacation, to now getting to enjoy our lives. And it's kind of crazy that, you know, when you're younger, you dream about what you would want to do, and those dreams are usually pretty big, and then you get into the real world and you find out that it's difficult. It's really difficult. And so we were busy, but my wife, you know, she played a big role in getting me to take a look at this, because she wanted to do the business. Like, she's like, I want to do this. And my response to her was, you know, what more can I do? I can't work any more than I'm working right now. What more do you want from me? And she said, if you want to change, if you want some things to change, then we're going to have to change some things. The classic Jim Rohn stuff. And so that's what made me take a look, because there's no arguing that. No one can argue that. And so if someone says to any of you listening, I don't have time, the best response is, hey, I know how you feel. I felt the same way, but that's why I'm talking to you about this, because I don't think you want to stay that way, right? Like, do you enjoy being that busy? Are you busy doing all the things you want to do? Or are you busy doing other things like work, right? And so that's what got us to look at this, is just really some frank, honest look at our life. And the transition to doing this full time was getting educated about what network marketing really was. I know we're going to talk about that maybe a little bit more, but the way we went from being skeptical to being all in was taking a close look at the company, and we did that at one of their corporate events. We signed up in October of '09, and our first event was February of 2010. So about four months or so in, we went to our first Elite Academy, and that's where I realized all of the entrepreneurial lights went on, and I realized that I could do this, that this was real. The company was real. I already knew the product was real. I knew the company was real, and it didn't have that, I don't know, it didn't have that feel that some network marketing companies that I was introduced to before gave me the feel. It was something different about LifeVantage, and now I know what it is. We call it the culture. The culture is different at LifeVantage. And so we just applied, Charlotte, we just applied our business approach to our network marketing business. That's one of the biggest mistakes people make is they say they want to do this. Like there's three levels of business, or there's three different groups of people in this business. There's people that have a desire to make between $0 and $500. There's people that have a desire to make $2,000 to $3,000, and there's people that have a desire to make $20,000 or more. That's typically the groups, and their actions represent what their desires are. And we welcome everybody. There's no one group better than the other. But our desire was never to make a few $100 or a couple $1,000, because that wasn't going to solve my problems. My problem of trading time for money, I needed more than $2,000 a month. And so we always saw this as a way to replace income. And it certainly has done that. We replaced it in 17 months, and now have removed just about all debt from our life. The only debt that we have, we actually want, because it's kind of good debt at the interest rate that we have it. Our money is making money faster than the debt is accumulating. And so that works for the bean counters. And so, yeah, financially, we're in a place today that we never could have been if it wasn't for LifeVantage.
Wow, what an exciting story. And, I know most families want that. We do want the freedom to be able to go and take our families on holidays. And we don't want the banks breathing down our necks. I cannot wait for the day when I can pay that last dollar off and say to the banks, I will never need you again. What an amazing feeling. So well done, Brandon and Danette, for what you guys have done. It's just amazing. And it really inspires us to see what is possible. So you mentioned network marketing for some people is, it's an obstacle. Some people will say, I don't have the money, or I just don't have the time, as you mentioned. And again, if those are really the reasons why they should start, right? If you don't have the money and the time, that is really why you need this. But specifically, how do you overcome the network marketing? You mentioned you went and researched the company. I too was really skeptical initially, and for me, I made a list of what I was looking for in the company and found the company as well. So what would you say to somebody on here today who's really skeptical, maybe have been in the industry and they've been hurt? What would you say to them?
Well, I always find it more powerful to ask questions than to make statements. So when someone is skeptical, I first want to acknowledge that. I don't want to just, act as if I didn't hear their skepticism by just telling them how great our company is. So if someone's skeptical, I just say, hey, I'm getting the feeling like, there's some issues with network marketing. Can you tell me, have you done it before? And, usually, if there's skepticism, it's usually because they did it or they knew someone that did it. And so we dive into that. And then I'll ask them, well, where did you think it went wrong? Or what kind of product did they have? And so I'll ask a bunch of questions. And then as it's kind of wrapping up there, I'll say, well, but do you believe network marketing works? And they'll always say, oh, yeah, it works for some people. And I'll say, okay, it works for some people. Who are those people? And they'll generally lend to a conversation of timing, and that's kind of an uneducated statement because everybody thinks you have to be the first ones to make all the money. which is not true. I've been in this company almost 9 years, and there are people joining the company this year that are already setting themselves up to make more money than I've ever made in this company because of the structure. We're helping them build with perfect structure and building in their second and third business centers with perfect structure. And so their paychecks will be huge. But asking those questions to get beneath to the real reason is the best way you can attack the network marketing issue. Beyond that, a lot of people don't have the education of what the enormous business that network marketing is globally. It's closing in, I think, on $200 billion in revenue. I don't think we've quite crossed 200 billion, but we're getting close, and it's huge. It's just enormous.
Is. Yeah, Brandon, I just a few minutes ago actually got statistics on Australia. I know who the top 3 companies are, and the top volume year a month is $15 million a month in our country. And, we're a tiny population, 24 million people, 25 million people. So it works. If we are selling just one company, if they're doing 15 million a month, we do know it works. Let's talk about the product a little bit because, there are lots of network marketing companies out there. We know our company is NASDAQ listed, so it's more safe than the ordinary company. We do know it's been around a long time. It has really proven itself, and we have a beautiful culture, which is what I was looking for as well. But when it comes to the product, is our product just another product? Is it something that you can find at a pharmacy or at a supermarket? What about our product do you believe makes our business so incredibly unique?
Yeah, it's the basis really for all of the success at the company. There are some key components, but the biggest and most important component is the product. And I just had this conversation today with a lady that didn't fully understand our product. And she's taken the product, but not necessarily saying, I haven't really felt anything yet, which is a lot of people will hear that with Nerf 2. When we're saying the product, in my opinion, it's Nerf 2. I call her my girlfriend. We're very close. It's the only girlfriend my wife will let me have. Just kidding. I'm happily married. But Nerf 2 is it. And the reason it's it is there's nothing like it on Earth because it's an activator. And so in short, there are amazing supplements in network marketing, really, really good supplements that you can benefit, your health can benefit from. But there is no Nerf 2 activator to the extent that we have. Not proven. It's an activator. No one's telling that story. No one's talking about activating the cell. Everybody's talking about supplementing the body. And when you realize that the human body functions at a higher level when you're younger because of the production of basically 3 enzymes, superoxide dismutase, catalase, and glutathione. When you realize those 3 enzymes, when they're present at a high level, the body just functions much better. Most people don't know that the body stops producing those enzymes at a high level about the time they physically stop growing, which is late teens, early 20s. And our product is proven to turn that mechanism back on. And that is special because the body, when you allow the body to repair itself, the body, there is no better physician than nature. Like your body knows you better than anybody else. You can't fool your body. When you can't just say, oh, I'm not going to go to sleep anymore. Your body will just fall down and go to sleep at some point. You can't say, I'm not going to drink water anymore. Your body knows the balance. And that's the key word, balance. I don't want to get too long-winded here, but we need water to survive. But you can also, people have died from drinking too much water too quick. There's a balance. And the beauty with Protandim is it allows your body to create that balance again in every cell in your body. So when I tell people, they'll go, what's it going to do? I'm like, it does everything. It makes your hair better. It makes your skin better. It makes your eyes better. It makes your sleep better. It makes your recovery better because it improves the activity of every cell in your body. No supplement on earth does that.
Absolutely. And Brandon, the way I love to mention it to people as well, the difference between supplements and activators is a supplement to me is like that old flick phone mobile. You know, we used to flick it up and like that's the old kind of method of looking after your body, whereas an activator is an iPhone 10. It's the latest science. It's called nutrigenomics. We know this is what gets the body to do naturally what it's meant to do, right?
Let me give you one. Let me give you one better than that. In my opinion, that instead of my analogy, what I like to share instead of when I'm talking activators and supplements is something I got from my brother-in-law, Fred Graves, who's a Pro 9. I don't know in Australia about the storms, but in Florida, we typically can get some big storms, hurricanes that come in, and they'll knock out the electricity. And if you're fortunate enough, you'll have a generator, right, that can supplement your home, some electricity. But it's awkward and it's difficult and it's just not as good as what the power company can produce. And so that's what we're talking about. Your body is the power company. And when you can get your body producing what it needs, it's so superior to a supplement. And so it's just like the generator and the power company, right? Like why use a generator when you've got the power company?
Yeah, exactly. Tell me, Brandon, what is the future of LifeVantage? Where do you see the company going? Why would you say to people to get involved?
Oh boy. Well, comparing what we just talked about, our products, to some of the other products that are out in network marketing. So we're doing around 200 million. But we have a profession that we're in that's 200 billion. Obviously, there's a lot of room for growth in that market space for our company. And when I look around the profession and see the other products that are out there, there's literally no comparison. There's leaders. I've gone to leadership meetings where there's six-figure, seven-figure earners from other companies. And they all know about our product. Many of them are on our product, and it's simple. Like I don't know if you guys know who Todd Falcone is, the fearless networker. I was at a private event with him, and he walked a stranger over to me and said, "This guy wants to take your product." And I'm like, it was so odd. And he's like, "Yeah, Todd tells me you guys have a product that extends life." And I'm like, yeah. And Todd says, yeah, that's pretty unique to be able to tell people you extend life. And so with that, our opportunity globally is massive because everywhere I go, health is important. Health is, you could debate health versus money, like what's more important, or time and money, I should say, health and money, right? And so you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have your health, what good is it? And so we have just begun to, here I'm in Texas, and it's one of the largest states in the United States, land-wise, some big cities, and we're barely getting some groups going here. And so when you look at the world scene, there's just massive, massive opportunity to build this company. So someone joining us today, man, what a perfect time to join this company where we have an incredible executive staff that has years of experience in network marketing. We've gone through the rough stages of getting a company started. It's the best time to join this company.
I totally agree. I'm at this event on the Gold Coast today, and I walked in, and I actually know the trainer. We were together in a company a couple of years back, and he's no longer in network marketing, but he does the training for it now. And when I walked in, he said to me, "You guys have got something incredibly special." And wow, how does that feel to walk in and be told that? So tell me, Brandon, for people on this webinar who think, yeah, that all sounds great. I'm really happy for you and your family. I wish you well, but my circumstances it's just too difficult. I can't even imagine, adding something extra to our world. In closing, what would you say to inspire them and encourage them on how can they build this into their life, and why should they do this?
Well, it's a question that I think about a lot for people, because for some reason people look at the top achievers in our company or any company and they start comparing themselves and saying, well, I could never do that, or look at those guys, they are able to get in front of people and talk to everyone. And the truth be told, I look at myself as just a goofball. Like, I'm just a normal person that, has been on a journey with this company. And so I heard recently, you should never compare someone else's chapter 4 or 5 to your chapter 1. So, you guys, I remember what it was like. I mean, it took me almost a month to get my first distributor, and some of you may be going, oh, only a month. I mean, don't compare, right? But I do know some people that put in $20,000 in their first month. I didn't even have a customer, a distributor in my first month. And so what I would say to someone that is looking at this and thinking, I could never do that. First of all, don't worry about being a master pro 10, because that was never my goal when I got into this company. I would say you take this thing piece by piece, right? One of the things I teach my team to do is set goals of small increments based on your bills. Okay. I think you're going to love this. We all have residual bills. Very few people have residual income to pay the bills. So take your smallest bill, whatever that is. I don't know if it's $50 a month. And your goal should be to pay that bill with your residual income. And then once you get that bill paid for with LifeVantage money, get the next biggest bill and continue that process until all your bills are being paid for by residual income. And I don't know, you'll probably find yourself somewhere around Pro 6 to Pro 8. Usually somewhere between $5,000 and $20,000 is where people's lifestyles are. Just take it one bill at a time. Don't look at the big thing and say, I could never do that. And honestly, the best thing you can do is join a network marketing company, because I've heard, well, I don't know that many people. I don't have time. Okay, well, if you don't have time, that means not only are you going to miss this opportunity, you're going to miss the next one, which means I guess you're just going to do what you're doing for the rest of your life, and that's not cool. I don't have any money. Well, you're going to miss this one, and you're going to miss the next one. And if you're beyond 25 years old, not having any money means, and I would say this to leaders, I wouldn't say this to a friend, but this is the mindset, is if you don't have any money, you've been making some bad decisions. Like, it's time to hang around some people that make good decisions. And so here's what I would say to someone that's a little softer, a little more loving. I would say, hey, think about it this way. If you lost your job tomorrow and you don't know that many people, would it be better to know just a few people, or would it be better to know a lot of people? So like, you could call, if you only knew 20 people, you're like, hey, I lost my job. Do you know anybody looking for help? Maybe if you called 20 people, it would be no 20 times. But if you knew 200, or if you knew 300 people, you wouldn't have a problem finding a job. Somewhere in there, somewhere, the numbers would work for you. That's the number one reason why you should join a network marketing company, is to meet the people and build your network. Robert Kiyosaki says your net worth is directly connected to your net work. So poor people just look for jobs. Like, they just look from one job to the next to see if they can improve their life. And wealthy people, they look to build their network. The more people you meet, the more opportunities are presented to you. And if you get into LifeVantage and put the work in, the mentors are going to show up. I know in my organization, if someone joins and they start putting in the work, we find each other. No one goes unnoticed. We find each other because I'm looking. I'm always looking for people that are doing some of the things I did. And that alone will help you take these steps, properly, so that you can tackle this thing. And so I would just say, you know, for the people that are saying, I can't do that, well, if you're using the word you can't, you're right, you can't. So the best thing that you can do, I had this conversation earlier today, is if you want to change your circumstances in life, time or money, then you're going to have to change your environment. And the best way you can change your environment is by surrounding yourself with people who think bigger, who have been in your shoes and can help you here mentally, because that's really the difference maker, is how we look at situations. It's not what happens to us in our life. It's how we react to those things that determine our happiness. No one has 25 or 26 hours a day. We all have 24. We're all normal people. It's just mindset and making sure that we're building something for ourselves, because if you don't have a plan, someone else does, and that plan's not very good if they're making the plans for you.
Yeah, and you're building their dream, right? So if you're working for somebody else, you're really helping them achieve their time and money freedom. So Brandon, that was such incredible advice. I love that, especially the mindset stuff. It is so true. So if you're on here today as a guest, I want to let you know that this product that we have, Pro Tandem, is phenomenal. You can't get it anywhere but through one of our distributors. You will find that you will sleep better, have more energy, reduce pain in your body, and this product protects your body against oxidative stress. I also want to let you know that we launched pretty much in about April 2016 in Australia, and it's been just over 2 years. We've gone from $80,000 a month in sales to almost $500,000 now. So this company is growing rapidly in Australia. We have systems set up to help you. We have team support, and we have that mentorship that Brandon spoke about. So we would love to welcome you into our LifeVantage family. Join us, change your health, and change your family's future forever. Brandon, thank you so much. We love and adore you. Give our love to Lynette, and we can't wait to see you guys in Utah in a few months' time.
My pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you there. And I have a new business partner in Australia, so let's see what he's going to do. We'll plug him into all your stuff.
Awesome. Please do that. Introduce us. We'd love to help him.
All right.
Okay, Brandon, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and have a great weekend. See ya.